Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Chinet. I'm your host, Rachit, and today we're talking about something that affects every single person listening. That's the clothes you're wearing right now. The fashion industry, right? It produces almost 8% of global carbon emissions, consumes more water than any other industry except probably agriculture, sends more than half of the 32 billion garments which are made each year straight to landfills. We've been told sustainable fashion means boring beige sacks and paying triple for or bad quality. Today, we'll meet Rachna Sarup. She spent 25 years as a garment exporter, working with international brands across the globe. She watched the industry destroy the planet from the inside. And during COVID, she was watching a David Attenborough documentary with her father, and then she decided to burn it all down and rebuild from scratch. With that, she built B77 Life. It's a sustainable fashion company that has tech to their core. Use 3D body mapping that reduces returns. They make fabric from Himalayan wild grass and organic roses. They plant a tree when every order and track the entire supply chain. They prove that you can look good, feel good, but still not destroy the planet while you're doing it. So let's welcome Rachna to the stage. Rachna, a very warm welcome to China.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Amazing. So, for our listeners, can you just give a small introduction about yourself?
Great. It's great to be here. Great to understand that the main issue in fashion is being addressed. And I hope lots and lots of more people will join us and find. And those who are over there, thank you for this precious time. The way I would like to introduce myself is resilient, passionate, a believer in tomorrow, living today with a lot of faith, believe in sustainability, success, and strength, because that totally encompasses the entire life journey that we live. Sustainability is a significant part today of my life, but until 25 years ago, we didn't even know what it means. But I love being where I am today.
Right. That's very true. I think sustainability, as and when things are becoming, we're seeing the impact of things like fast fashion and a lot of unsustainable practices which we've done all our lives. Now sustainability is becoming even more important. And as you said, you've been in the industry for more than 25 years. You've worked with international brands. You were working on the inside, as I said. So we know the nature documentary story, but tell us a bit more about that, right? Tell us the moment when you decided that, okay, I cannot go back to business as usual.
So there were very key factors, and like they say, when it's to happen, it happens. So when COVID happened, it was a really scary moment. I know we have all started going back to our routines as if nothing happened, and it feels like it was another lifetime. But it was one time when each one of us from our busy schedules or crazy schedules got down to sitting and thinking, what tomorrow? We didn't know there would be a tomorrow. And that is when, of course, like I mentioned it to you earlier, was that I watched a lot of David Attenborough, and it was scary to see how the Amazon is depleting by the 2030s. And that got me really thinking that where are we heading? I used to stand at the balcony, and when the kids started moving out a little bit, they were all wearing masks, and it looked like a
Right.
sci-fi movie that we were living. I started reading a lot, and what are we doing? Where are we going? Once I started doing that entire thing, it was a scary realization that it's all the pollution which is hitting us. And what are the two main contributors of the pollution? One was oil, and the other was the fashion industry. Now, oil, I did not have any experience, and there was no way I could do any U turns and do anything over there. But the fashion industry, having been part of it as a producer for 29 years, yes, like I told you, I'm not a Mother Teresa or anybody who's here to do only a charity or speaking about it, because then it will never go.
Right.
So, where I made it a point was it was important for me to make a turn where we would try and do the same but at a better level. So
Hmm.
even today, what I feel is you can't change your wardrobe, but you can change the quality of your wardrobe, what you're utilizing. So I think that was the very significant turning point. As a mother, you can give them good food, you can try and fight for this, but if you don't give them fresh air and you don't give them a
Of
good
course.
life ahead, I feel I'm a failure. And that to me was the most important thing. It's not about education, it's not about fresh air, it's about giving them an environment which is there for tomorrow.
That's true. And so let's talk a bit about what you're doing at B77. So let's talk about the material. I was reading that you were using roses to make fabric. You're using Himalayan grass to make fabric. Even like now, there are brands where they're not even doing organic cotton, right? Even if they're doing it, you'll see like two pieces, two white t-shirts in organic cotton, and everything else will still be fast fashion, like your H&Ms and your Zaras. How are you finding these materials and the demand for these materials?
Okay, so I'm going to take them as 2 to 3 questions. I'm going to answer them individually.
Sure.
First of all, since you mentioned B77, that is where we started the brand and we have
Right.
researched the brand. We created the brand because we knew that there should be a need for it
Right.
when we came in. But when we walked into the thing, it didn't come up as a fancy dream which says, hey, let me now start producing sustainable clothing. It was
Right.
researched, it was thought of. So the first step of understanding is what is the problem that I'm addressing. The
Hmm.
problem was that there is nobody who's producing only sustainable clothing.
Hmm.
The second problem was why not? So
Correct.
what came back to me was a very loud and clear answers. There is no brand which is doing sustainability. There is no proof of sustainability materials being produced. There is no confidence of people onto them. Second, in the name of sustainability, we are expecting people to change the way they are used to living and the
Right.
clothes they are trying to wear, the styles they're wearing. Now, you cannot expect each one of us. We all know what Ramchandraji wore was the best clothing. But
Right.
can we start wearing that today? We can't. So we have to adapt. And
Correct.
that's where me and my team spent the first few years understanding the market, the need of the market, and then creating awareness and importance. Now, when you're doing it in the process, and I've been in this entire supply chain of apparels and clothings for the last 20 plus, 25 plus years, which obviously gives me being part of the insights of development of materials, of
Correct.
fabrics, understanding where we have been going. And when COVID again happened, a lot of us thought leaders got it together and looked at innovation as a very important path of moving ahead.
Right.
These fabrics that you mentioned, it's rose petal and himgra, where I'm one of the only people who are using it, whereas the Himalayan grass is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that was very close to my heart because that's entirely right from our Indian grass, which we are using in the wild, which is the kettle, which is it's known as the candeli, and it's easily available, can be produced again. You don't need to do too much of water nurturing. You don't need to really make an extra effort for it. The grass is the most natural form
Right.
which is there, and the way we are treating it is with low chemicals, low water wastages. So we did a lot of research, and getting the fabric was one part of it, but then having to stylize it is an entire story by itself.
Hmm.
So you can
Correct.
get lots of fabrics on the streets facing lots of things with it. But how do you stylize is one part of it. How do you reach the customer to make it convenient in their wardrobe is the other part. So we actually spent almost 2 to 2.5 years researching, doing development, creating styles, experimenting, studying them to bring it to the masses. Because unless sustainability reaches each one of us, this change will not happen. It'll remain a communication which happens only in drawing rooms or kitty parties or pastry parties. It will
Correct.
never be the change. And
Of
I'm
course.
here to make the change.
Amazing. Yeah. And that's a very interesting point which you made, that uh, these are all Indian
Yes,
grass which we're
yes,
actually that which we're then
yes,
using.
yes.
Is there some specific technical reason, or a business reason why people have not been doing it since so long?
First of all, the backend has not been ready.
Hmm.
So the backend has not been ready. And even right now, to 100% scale it, it requires a lot of commitment
Hmm.
from the manufacturer, from the person who's making the effort to buy. It's a change. So changes don't happen overnight, they take time,
Hmm. Right.
but they are happening. And we are all set at the back end. We are set with people like us who have got a plethora of styles that you can pick up from. I went all out and all in every which way to make sure that my website gave you a complete choice to choose for whether you're wearing it to work, whether you're wearing
Right.
it to the beach, you want to party in it. And we consciously did it because unless you have that change, you will not change. So instead of trying to give gyan,
Right.
we created Vigyan, and we wanted to make the change without doing too much of an effort.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Love that line. And yeah, actually, let's talk about your website. I love the tech. I love the moment you go to the website, you click on a product, you get a blockchain ID which tracks the supply chain. You get a lot of the carbon emissions and all of that. And of course, you have this 3D virtual trial room which you're building. What's your vision for your technology? Like, where do you see that in the next couple of years?
So I believe sustainability and technology are interlinked.
Right.
Although I'm not a technology specialist, but I think what you need to have is an understanding of how to integrate it.
Correct.
And I think B77 at each stage has been a pioneer. And even today, at each SKU, that cube you see moving around, is at
Right.
SKU which is giving you the carbon footprint savings that we are doing.
Correct.
Which means we are confident of what our activities are on every product. We are giving you the complete traceability, the kind of savings you're doing. That is a third party tech integration. So it's not like me
Right.
blowing my trumpet, right? It's a third party endorsing it.
Hmm.
Similarly, we have the 3D trial room, which again is a very significant tool when you're on a virtual shopping mode. Because what are the challenges we have? Why do people shop return? I mean, you always have naughty people everywhere who may want to wear and not want to wear, and they may not want. I'm not talking of those guys there, but I'm talking of serious shoppers who actually want to buy and they like
Right.
what they see. But there is a wee bit of hesitation which gets amplified with the lack of fitting being available.
Hmm.
Now, that has been part of sustainability as well, where people have used sustainability as a cover up for giving bad fitted clothes, which is one
Hmm.
thing we have worked in.
Right.
But most of all, the 3D gives you almost a 99% accuracy. The only place where I think it falters or may falter is human error
Hmm.
in production.
Right.
In terms of technology, how it works is when we make our patterns, we make it in 2D, and the same patterns get converted into the 3D where the body is being, you can actually just put in your basic, we all know our height, we may want to be discreet with the weight, but we do know our basic measurements, and since you're sitting with
Right.
your laptop or your phone, it's a secret between you and the technology right in front. You
Correct.
actually have an avatar which is created, you can see the fitment, and as a woman, one of the biggest challenges I face is the length of a dress. Where is it going to be? So it makes decision in a jiffy, because you know, is this the length I want? This is not the length I want. You have a 360-degree movement which can show you how far it is from your skin, the transparency level that is there, because we scan the material that is there. So I think it's a very, very precise tool. We have beta tested it, and we've actually done it for almost 1.5 2 years, where we had encouraged our consumers to shop and buy through this. We received a phenomenal feedback when it was one on one, but the hesitation to shop online itself is very high.
Hmm. Right.
So that's something I'm working on right now.
That's yeah. It takes time for any even new technology, right? It takes time for people to start accepting it in
Yes,
general.
adaptation takes time.
Yes.
It does.
And you were in our previous offstage conversation. You were talking a lot about fast fashion, right? And that made me also check my wardrobe. There's so many clothes from yeah, M's, and I think it's, and then when you go back and then you feel that okay, this while buying, I love to preserve plastic, and I try to avoid anything which has a lot of plastic. I don't do plastic bags at all. I'll carry. My wife makes fun of when we go to a grocery store. If now we hardly go to grocery stores, but when we used to, I used to carry 20 things in my hand to try to avoid that one extra plastic bag. But when we buy clothes, we don't think so much. It's somehow not in. It's not never been ingrained to us that okay, clothes are also there. There's a carbon. It's harming your body. There are so many things. So, if someone watching today is wearing fast fashion, what is the one thing about how their clothes were made that you think would shock them?
I think by now they are being shocked, but it's a fact they have to just face the reality before it hits them and they have to go to the doctor. I
Hmm.
don't think I like to preach or teach. I like to create awareness.
Right.
Unless I do that, I think, and the reason I say that is because preaching and teaching can be mundane and can be pushed aside. I
Right.
want each one of you to go back after this podcast. Open, we have Wikipedia, we have Google, and we have Google Baba guiding us everywhere. We have Perplexity, we have chat mode. Just spend 5 minutes and see how it's harming your skin. understand why our children are going through so much skin allergies.
Hmm.
Why is it that the mothers have adapted to go back to the traditional way of wearing cottons for the children, but not for yourself?
Hmm.
The first
Right.
adaptation happened in the kids' apparel because that's the most sensitive and close to our heart. We would do
Correct.
anything for them. But why not for ourselves? Because they rub their skin on your clothing. They nuzzle and hustle into you. Why
Right.
are they being made to do that? Like I said, I'm not here to preach or teach. I'm here to make you aware that what you're doing and what you're wearing needs a change.
Hmm.
But before you make the change, make yourself aware. Read, see, and then do the shopping. Create it. The second very important thing which I feel people are losing when they talk of sustainability is everybody is talking of making it less commercial and less thing, which is wrong. The reason fast fashion moved on was because we were able to create jobs,
Right.
opportunities. Now, in this entire race of trying to reuse and recycle, we should not forget that we created. Now, we have to keep creating to survive. You have to create jobs. You have to provide employment. That's also our responsibility as citizens of the planet. So you have to make sure the materials you're using are as important and good. Make sure that you're providing the employment, but you're not compromising on what you're paying them.
Right.
So don't make the person producing the garment go and cringe both on the material, both on the people who are working. You are earning for this to live for
Right.
longevity, for good quality of life.
Right.
Then why not do it? What is the point of getting six zeros in your packages? What's the point if you can't live a healthy life? What's the point of living inside your house? Why
Of
not take
course.
your daughter out to these fancy malls and play zones which are opened up?
Right.
That's what you're earning for, right? But if she's sitting inside the house, what's it? You're just introducing her to television, and that's going to give you
Oh,
other
that's
problems.
worse. That's
Yes, so
worse.
I think the answers are within you. You
Right.
just need to face them and make the change.
Hmm.
It's not about H&Ms, it's not about Zara, it's about you.
Correct.
It will always be you who makes the change. You're all
Very
educated,
true.
aware, read, and change.
Very true. Very true. And I think, yeah, that change only comes when you go and you read and you try to
That
understand that what is it that you're wearing, where is it coming from,
it didn't
what are
happen
the
to
side
me
effects.
also. Honestly, Rachit, this change didn't happen to me also. I
Right.
grew up with a father who always emphasized on environment, and I thought that was so boring and everything. The change came when
Right.
it hit me. The reality came when the realization happened. And again, I say, I don't preach my other brands. I don't. I don't.
Right.
It's for each brand to understand where they are going. But you're
Correct.
an intelligent consumer. You make the change. Why blame a brand? Be the change.
Fair. I think that's very valuable. It will start uh, from us, right? It's not going to start
Yes,
from brand. It
yes,
needs to come from the
absolutely.
consumers, and then the
Don't
brands will
spend your
follow.
time blaming people. Just be the change.
Fair.
Anytime you
Fair.
point a finger out at somebody, three come back to you.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. Let's talk about Gen Z, right? They're the new consumers. Unfortunately, I'm too old, uh, and, and I'm not that well aware. But do you think it's there? If we do like a survey, and there are reports that majority of the Gen Z are now more towards, I would say, more educated in terms of sustainability, at least on social media, and at least on these surveys. But on the other side, there are brands like Shein which are going crazy, like billions of views, and they're literally getting fined for increasing their carbon footprint, and you know so on and so forth. But why is there a paradox, right? Why is this paradox that on one side there is, we say that okay, Gen Z is very sustainable, sustainability focused, people are uh, you know they're very pro sustainable fashion, and on the other side we have these brands which are their valuations are skyrocketing, their sales are skyrocketing.
I don't think it's just a paradox. I think it's about availability also. If you
Hmm.
ask me, the Gen Z are very mature. I have two Gen Zs in my house.
Hmm.
Very knowledgeable. Are Yes, they do have their own dysfunctions,
Hmm.
which probably comes more with nuclear families than with anything else. But in
Correct.
terms of awareness, understanding, hats off to them. They're a very well read
Hmm.
generation. They're a overexposed generation, if I may say.
Right.
But they have to be respected. So I would not like to disregard the fact that they will make the change. They are
Hmm.
the change.
Right.
Unfortunately, they need to be given to choose from that change, which is where I started off. You
Right.
don't have brands to choose with. Which is the other brand you want them to go and choose from?
Hmm.
Have you given them the choice? Which is why the change is not happening and it's taking
Right.
time. Let's not blame a generation. Let's not make it a generation game.
Hmm.
Let's make the change in each one of us. And
Right.
you, being the previous to the Gen Z, and you have an alpha in your house, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, she's an alpha now. Yes.
Yeah, we need to do the change, and then everything moves.
Right.
So,
Very true.
awareness is one part of it, availability, accessibility is another very significantly important part of it,
Right.
which is where we need to work. So,
Hmm.
like I said, ज्ञान नहीं देना सिखाना नहीं, awareness
Hmm.
create करना फिर पहुंचाना is very important,
True. True.
and I'm
True.
working at both.
Amazing. Yes, of course. Very true. Let's talk a bit about the technology you are using to support all of this, right? Like your ecom website, and because that's it's a very amazing website, by the way. Kudos to your team for that. The moment you land on it, you see it's very clean. It is like the moment you think of sustainability, you kind of think that okay, you'll get a very small collection with very small products, and I showed it to my wife, and she was amazed at the collection itself, right? That okay, so many things in in a sustainable fashion is a big deal, right? So what are the tools and technology, like what does your day look like when you're using the backend for your e-com, right? That's for our budding entrepreneurs, that how should, if they aspire to build a brand like that, what tools, what technology should they use?
Okay, so like the word technology itself, it changes every few weeks,
Of course.
days,
Yes.
hours, and there's new integration, new ideas every day that is coming across to us. First of all, I must thank you and thank your wife, because you're definitely our TG. We are looking to reach out. And it's been a good way to wrap up this year, because we've just been encouraged with starting off with the best responsible brand at Amala Earth. We've just got the
Amazing.
best sustainable brand 2025 at the Sustain Next.
I know,
Uh,
I saw that that was amazing. Congratulations.
thank you so much. And we are the rising star at Mintra. Now, when I say this, out of the three we mentioned, these are all public platforms.
Right.
Okay. And the reason I mention is that these are all technology based platforms,
Correct.
which is Mintra. All right. And when I started my journey, and I would say that my team is very close to me because they're my sister there, my friends there, and we put it all together. And I have to give them complete credit. So when I'm getting pressurized on any of the points, they hold me back and say, no, this is not what you wanted to do or what we wanted to do together. So it's never an individual, it's always a teamwork which works together. And I take this opportunity to thank each one of them. Having said that, technology for us, like we said, as a sustainable brand, besides the aesthetics and the back, we have the 3D, we have the
Right.
SKU level calculation, which is being done, which is integrated over there. We keep looking for newer, tech which can enhance the consumer journey, which
Right.
is there, because that's there. And we partner in with people who are going to make the entire process as seamless possible. We keep looking at new AI tools while we are producing, so that we minimize our entire wastage.
Right.
We are able to optimize every process at each stage. So, what it takes from me is almost each day, I would say, averaging out almost 45 minutes trying to study where what's happening globally within the country. The other very important thing for me is to find your own resources within your own country in terms of both manpower, sources, softwares, technology. Everything you see is with us, is locally done there.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that I think the world itself is one small space now. So that's what technology does to us. It gives you geographical limits crossing power. And I think that's what excites me each day.
Hmm.
How can I reach out to different people across the globe? The next is communication,
Right.
languages. So when they go wherever they go, they should be able to be addressed in their language,
Correct.
their understanding. So those are things which keep coming up, newer ways of integrating things, looking out. So that's what I look out for. And fingers crossed, we'll keep finding new ways to do new things.
Amazing. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. Technology changes every
Yes,
few
yes,
days now. Earlier it was few years, in few months, and now it's a few days. But
correct.
and if I'm not wrong, so you manage. I'm guessing you manage everything through Shopify, right? That would be like a platform of choice. So, like, what do you like if there's a new brand which is onboarding on Shopify, right? What would be your 2 or 3 golden tips for them to deal with that platform?
Shopify as a platform is very easy. It's
Right,
become very user friendly.
right,
And I think the newer people who are coming in are getting it much more smooth and sieved out. So
right.
when we started the journey, there were many creases in it. And we started it with a customized website. And down the line, we realized though our website is a beautiful website, it has everything in it, but the kind of support you need to do for a customized website takes in a lot more other resources.
Right.
We had to move to a Shopify. And when we did, like I said, I'm not a real technology expert, but one of the biggest realization I found out was the user friendly. It's a very
Correct.
user friendly approach. It also understands what the masses are using. So it
Right.
knows what needs to be done. The only one glitch which I feel is it's not an easy interaction with the Shopify.
Hmm.
So as a consumer, you're not able to interact easily, which also
Right.
is a process of development, and I think it will probably improve. But it's been a great experience to be on Shopify, and I love the fact that they keep bringing in newer
Hmm. Newer things.
integrations,
Right.
and they keep studying other people in the same space, and they're able to give you so much more. So I think it's great.
Right. Amazing. So that's your platform of choice.
Yes, it is clearly, and I would advise, unless you have something else which is at the same price points, doesn't
Right.
make sense.
No, I think it's a lovely platform. I think
Yeah, yeah.
we did a e-com startup back. I think this was 2000. At that time, also Shopify was good, and now I think they've done. They're doing very good.
So they're using their learnings, which is
Yes,
very
of
good.
course.
And that's the way I would say that.
Right. So Rachna, in your last 25 years and in while building this as well, uh, what do you think has been a point of failure and a point where you thought you learned the maximum?
You do make me feel old by repeating the 25 years. Huh? Let me tell you,
No,
I
I think
honestly feel
that's
I don't
that's
feel that old. But every time you say that, it makes me cringe. Okay, fine, it's been that long. If you are bringing numbers, let's say it's been more than 25 years, much more than 25 years.
but I think that's amazing, right? Like that's
Yeah, yeah, it is amazing.
that kind of experience. It's hard to find that kind of experience in our circles, honestly. Uh, in entrepreneur, like you're getting so many 20-year-old entrepreneurs that they're doing wonderful, but that experience of being in an industry, being in and out, understanding everything from bottom up, that you don't get. It's hard to find, honestly.
It works both ways. We both have our own space, and working together has a fantastic experience. So that's
Right.
another question which is there. But yes, what you asked me, I think life without failures would be very mundane and very boring. The only thing is that we need to understand that failures are the stepping stone to success.
Hmm.
And I failed not once, multiple times. 5 months, 6 months back, I wasn't sure if I'm even going to make it with B. I'm still
Hmm.
fighting it out each day. I don't know where I am. I'm still not the success story which I can talk about and write it out. But failures should not stop you from taking journeys.
Correct.
They should make you feel more aware of what you're doing, how you're doing. Take those steps with a little more ability and more knowledge. But it's a scary journey being an entrepreneur, which is what I tell people, that it can't be taught in classrooms. You can be
Hmm.
exposed, you can be introduced, but what happens, that duk duk can only be felt.
Right.
That cannot be there. But yes, failures are a part of life. And I'm just hoping I have covered as many as I had to. And the future only has success, because B77 is banking on me to make it a success. So I have to use all my experience here and try and make it a
God.
success.
Right. Yeah.
So
I think
maybe in the next 6 months you'll talk about my success story.
absolutely 100%.
So the questions will be framed. How did B77 become such a big success?
100%, 100%. And Hopefully by that time we'll also have the budget to do a physical podcast instead of a virtual one.
Yeah, I look forward to it because then you touch and feel my stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Great. Let's get to Yash's question. What is one lie which the fashion industry tells us about sustainability?
Thanks, Josh. That's a very, 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 very important question. We lie through and through,
Hmm.
not just one. But let me tell you, we have made a major change. And today, we are converting that lie into truth, which is why people like me have come right in front of you
Right.
and are telling you to go and check at each SKU what we are doing. As much as we have lied in the past, we are making an effort to make that change. We would love you to come back to us, share with us what your inhibitions are. Why aren't you doing it? And that is why I said, don't make the change with by saying we are going back to handlooms or by saying that we are using all natural dyes because that's not going to be practical. The
Right.
change will happen when you are practically. The back end is all set for you to make the change. The scalability will come only when the change comes. We are no longer lying. We have made that lie our journey. We are making every single day. It's been very tough, Yash. It's been very tough to sit here across you, look confident, do it right without having to say even a single lie. It's been a journey.
Right.
We have used technology, we have used materials, we have used processes, we are giving you certifications, we are partnering with people who are making these kind of efforts at every stage of the industry. We are all trying to do it so that we make the entire change to reduce the kind of pollution we have been creating. But unless you all hand hold with us, you can keep questioning us on this lie, but today, we have reduced the lie and we are more truthful than liars. And I assure you that.
Amazing answer. I'm sure for our listeners as well. And it's been a very knowledgeable session. Usually, you learn how to sell, how to market, those kind of things. And with me, a lot of technical jargons. But this session has been very different from any of my previous ones. I hope my our listeners have enjoyed it as much as I did, because I think these are very important topics, and there are founders like Rachna who are trying to spread awareness and make us understand that sustainable fashion is important, but you don't have to choose between doing good and looking good. So their website is b77life.com, and you can go visit the website to see what happens when someone decides that the industry is broken and builds to solve for it themselves. But yeah, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
And it has
Thank
been
you,
lovely.
Rachit, for giving
Thank
me
you.
the opportunity.